there is a lot of concern related to the Waqf Amendment Act 2025, which has been promulgated by the government. There are various issues, some of which have been highlighted by the Supreme Court when it has stayed the implementation till 7th of May. But there are certain points which need to be considered. This is an attempt by the government not just to manipulate the Waqf Act. It is also an attack on the syncretic culture of India. Now, the Supreme Court Justice asked the government that if you are allowing Hindu members in the Waqf board, would you allow Muslim members in the management of temple? The fact is that in Ayodhya, before this Ram temple movement gained momentum, there were temples in which Muslims had been appointed as managers. So the syncretic culture of India is where Hindus and Muslims have been living together. Hindus have donated, for Waqf. Muslim, kings have given land for building Hindu temples, including Aurangzeb, the most infamous Mughal ruler. And there's a friend of mine from Unnao. He has presently built a mosque and a temple nearby in the same campus and a guest house. So this is the kind of India we have known, where Hindus and Muslims have lived together, have been participating in each other's festivals, and have jointly celebrated their festivals, have helped each other in running their institutions, including the religious institutions. But what the government is trying to do is to sever this relationship at the social level. If you will force the Waqf boards to have non-Muslim members, and especially Hindu members, it will be resented by the Muslim community. In fact, what should have happened is just like the Hindu temples had in the natural course, because people have been living together, have taken the help of Muslims in running their temples. In a similar manner, Muslims should have been just advised that it will be better if you can take some non-Muslim members on the board, and that would have served the purpose. But the way in which the government is trying to institutionalize things, formalize things, this is not good. Now, the amendment says that only a Muslim can donate to the Waqf, and the Muslim has to prove that he or she has been a Muslim for 5 years. Now, who is going to decide whether a person is a Muslim or not? I mean, the person may have a Muslim name. He or she may not be offering namaz 5 times a day. If a lady is there and she doesn't wear hijab, would you consider her Muslim? So there are various questions which come to the mind as to the purpose of making these amendments. There, in the case of disputes, the local district magistrate has been given the authority to decide the dispute, and if it is a property, we can imagine, which has not been registered in the past, the so-called Waqf by user. So by use, for the purposes of the Muslim community, we can say that a certain property is a Waqf property, even though it may not have been registered in the past, because it belongs to a very old time. So in such cases, if there is a dispute, then obviously the government has a leeway there now, and the officials can take over that property, can make the government the owner of that property. So the intention of the government in making these amendments to the Waqf Act are questionable. It is a clear interference in the rights of the Muslim community. Our constitution says very clearly that that Article 25 grants a fundamental right to any person to practice, to propagate their religion. But in spite of that, people are getting arrested in this country, Christians and Muslims, for religious conversions, for converting others to their religion, even though this is allowed by the constitution. Of course, it says that it should not be against the peace and the health of the society, should not disturb the law and order. But it is a fact that people, especially the poor, from the socioeconomic weaker categories, have converted to other religions for material benefit. But there's nothing wrong in it, because if their own religion was not taking care of them and they find a different religion where they feel more comfortable, where they feel that their discrimination on the basis of caste is not there, everybody is free to choose their religion. But the government has interfered. It has made laws, for example, the one on marriage. Now, if you are going to marry a person from a different religion, then you have to take the permission of the district magistrate. And the whole process is such that it is an harassment for the couple who would like to marry. So laws have been made which are interfering in the private lives of citizens. Of course, I mean, there are cases where these relationships are not genuine, or there is some ulterior motive. But then there are different sections in the law which can take care of it. Why do we need a law against conversion? And the Article 26 very clearly says that every religious community has a right to manage their institutions in the manner that they would like to do. But the Waqf Act is a clear violation of this, because it is forcing the Waqf boards and the committees to have members from outside the committee, who most likely will be nominated by the government. So, as opposed to a voluntary arrangement where communities, because of living together, have come together and celebrated festivals, have joined hands to manage religious institutions. Even formally, Muslims have been managers of Hindu temples. But now what the government is doing, it is trying to force this upon communities. And this is not something which is going to be liked by the communities, because what you do voluntarily is natural, and the community accepts it. But if the government tries to force it upon people, then there will be a resentment. So on these points, the Waqf Act, the amendment to the Waqf Act, there are questions on it. There are questions about the motive, and the Supreme Court has very rightly stayed the implementation of the Act till 7th May. But we only hope that the court will go ahead and will stay the amendments in the Act, so that the amendments made by the BJP government, which are against the interests of the Muslim community and the society as a whole, should not be done. So this is yet another tool in the hands of BJP government to destroy the syncretic culture of this country, to separate the Hindus and Muslims. Like in Gujarat, this is the Gujarat model which they want to implement throughout the country. And if people are separated, if there is a feeling of animosity between the people, then it is not very healthy for the society. It will not be a very strong society where people are divided. So people must be allowed to live naturally as they have been living together, and they will manage their religious institutions and carry out their religious activities in cooperation with each other, as has happened in this country for a long time, and what the government is doing is destroying that culture. So it is not good for the country, and this amendment to Waqf Act must be withdrawn. Thank you.